Black wives, when was the last time you said, I'm happy, and actually meant it? Because if everyone around you is thriving, but you're silently crumbling, something has to change. Listen, I'm inviting you into my personal journey of rediscovering my own happiness as a black wife. For one whole week, listen, one whole week, I challenged myself to put my joy first. And what happened next was absolutely eye opening. Like, truly eye opening. If you've ever felt like you've lost yourself while taking care of everybody else, I mean, the husband, the kids, the job, the business, the friends, the family, like everybody, you're not alone. So let's talk about how choosing happiness can actually heal your marriage, your mind, and your spirit. Get ready to tune in.
She's a queen, she's a crown, she's a backbone strong. Soft hands, open heart, where you know he belongs. Grace for her man, yeah, she covers in grace. Built for the storm, but still moves with grace. She's the calm in the fire, the peace in the fight. Holds them down strong, but keeps it real light. Got that Proverbs glow, yeah, she walks in the light. Ain't just his whip, she's his whole appetite. She's that uncommon wife, divine set apart. Moves with that power, yeah, she leads with her heart. Soft but she's solid, love wrapped in might. Black woman magic, yeah, she shines so bright. She knows her worth, she knows her call. Stands in the gap so a king don't fall. Speaks life, not fear, she's the voice he trusts. Built on faith, yeah, her love is just. She's the calm in the fight.
Welcome back to Bold and Blessed Black Wives Podcast. I'm your host, Tamika Chapman. And listen, today I really am excited to share my journey with you, right? A lot of times we hear, we talk, we conversate, but it's not the real conversation that really happens that allows you to feel, you know what? I can put my joy first. You know what? I can put my happiness first because I know that my happiness is going to feed into everything else that I do, into everyone else that I serve. So we're jumping all the way in, toes first, okay? But really and truly, I want you to think about, when was the last time you said, I'm happy? And you actually meant it. Seriously. Not just content, not just functioning. I'm talking about that real, soul deep, unapologetic happiness that you just feel. Like you feel happy, you feel complete. You feel that if you don't do something for somebody else, you are still okay, right? If your silence just got louder, then this episode is for you. It's for your mom. Because this week I did something different. I did something some people will probably call radical, okay? But if you know me, you know that my house is still, I would consider it quarantine. We have not reintegrated ourselves back out into society just yet after being quarantined from COVID, okay? So yes, since March of 2020, my household has still been my household, and that's it, my husband, myself, and our two children. But this week I took on a challenge of putting my own happiness first, and it changed everything. Everything. So let's talk about it. Let's just talk about it. You know, I'm first going to talk about, why happiness sometimes feels like a luxury that we can't afford. For many of us, being a wife means being last. I have no idea where that came from. No idea where that came from. I don't know who's been teaching that, but that's not what it is. We're the last to eat, the last to rest, the last to get a moment to just breathe. We've been taught that sacrificing ourselves is a badge of honor. You know, I talked about on one of, I think it was on one of the marriage heartbeats and heartbreakers, about being called the Wody, the wife of the year. Okay, yeah, that's cute, but putting yourself last and sacrificing everything about yourself is not a badge of honor. That is not motherhood. You don't have to put yourself last, and you should never put yourself last. But what it really becomes is a silent prison. We mentally cage ourselves. We mentally imprison ourselves to this title, to this role. One of the things that I always tell people, especially when it comes to mutual respect, is remove the title. Once you remove the title, it allows everyone to just be human. It allows everyone to just be the person or the people that they are, right? But when we give and give and give and give, we do it until there's nothing left for us. We do it until there's nothing left for us to hold on to just take that woosah moment, just to take a moment just for us. And then we begin to feel guilty about needing joy, peace, space, and care. Okay? Why are we feeling guilty? I still don't know who's been teaching that. I have no idea, right? But here's the truth. Here's the truth. Happiness is not selfish. It is sacred, okay? Happiness is not selfish. It is sacred. You must find your happiness. Whatever that is, you must find it, right? So, listen. Okay, so I was doing all the things, okay? I was doing all of the things. Supporting my husband, supporting my children, raising my children, doing activities with my children, finding creative ways to spend time with my husband, managing our home, running my business, trying to be a good friend, trying to be a good sister, a good daughter. Oh, listen. I was doing all the things. And slowly I was crumbling. Slowly. I wasn't angry. I was beginning to be empty. I was fulfilling a role, but I was losing some of that substance, right? Some of the substance that makes Tamika, right? But that's the part nobody talks about. Nobody wants to talk about being empty. Nobody wants to talk about giving and giving and giving of themselves until there's nothing left for themselves. Nobody wants to talk about that because you have this imaginary cape that you are supermama. When your smile becomes performance and your silence becomes survival. Listen, that's what nobody's talking about. When your smile becomes performance, you smile because you are in a role. You smile because you're acting in this role. Your silence becomes survival because one, nobody's listening, and if you begin to speak up, people complain, or you feel as if people are not going to accept you speaking up and needing time, needing energy, needing space, needing, just you to just have a moment to just breathe. Resentment begins to creep in. You begin to resent doing stuff for people. You begin to resent how far they've gotten or what it is that they're doing, this or that. You begin to resent it. And it's not because you don't love them, but it's because you forgot to love yourself. You forgot to love you. But now I'm going to tell you about the moment that changed everything for me. And maybe this will do something for you. Maybe it'll help you. Maybe it will cause you to take a moment, a week, a month for you as well. I know, my sister, she jokingly says it, but she's very serious about it. She took a year off for self-care. And when I say she took a year off, that means she was not on social media. She was not doing anything in business. She wasn't doing anything. And she took a full year just for self-care. And I applaud that. I get excited when I hear her say it, because it just reminds me that, you know what? The world still goes on. The world will still evolve regardless if I show up or if I don't. My family, my household will still run. I got to a point where I made it and I enabled everyone to just rely on me for a certain thing, right? But listen, we are all capable in our household of getting things done, of doing things. So I had to remove myself from the role. I had to remove the title so that so that I could experience this moment that I'm getting ready to tell you about, right? So this is the moment that changed everything for me. My breaking point was not with some fancy getaway, because I just told y'all still quarantined in my house, okay? But it happened right here at my house. It happened right here at home for me. My family still quarantined. The house is full. Spirit teeter-tottering on empty, okay? Teeter-tottering on that E, right? So one day, I decided I was going to take a walk out in the yard. We're sitting on a nice piece of property, so I decided I was going to take a walk, right? And I wanted to take this walk with no husband, no kids. I don't know if y'all hear them laughing right now. They're always around. But I decided to take a walk with no husband, no kids, no phone, just me, my journal, and Jesus, okay? Me, my journal, and Jesus. I sat in silence and just being surrounded by trees, being surrounded by my truths, my thoughts, my conversation with God, and it hit me. I really couldn't remember the last time that I just felt happy for me, right? You know, I've accomplished a lot of things. Yes, I've accomplished a lot of things in my professional life. Whether that's working as an 9-to-5 or whether that's me in my business for the last almost 5 years now. I've accomplished a lot of amazing things, right? And for me, it was just, okay, I did this, time to move on. I did that, what's next? I did this, I did that. I never really took the time to just celebrate any accomplishment, right? That's in professional life as well as my personal life. There's been a lot of things that I have accomplished, such as better communication, such as, taming frustrations and impatience, right? So again, I didn't celebrate those things. I didn't celebrate me for doing those things. And again, I couldn't remember the last time I was just happy for myself. I was doing those things to help a situation that I was in, right? Or in my marriage, but I wasn't necessarily doing it for me, even though I got some good benefits out of it, right? But the quiet moments that I had, just a few hundred feet from my front door, that was my wake-up call. And I made a vow right then and there that I will no longer wait for joy to knock on the door. I'm going to go out and I'm going to create my own joy. I'm going to create my own happiness. I'm going to create whatever it is that I'm needing to feel, whatever it is that I'm needing to feel whole, to feel full, to feel refilled with something good, right? And that's when everything started to shift. In that moment, in those moments, I stopped looking and stopped waiting for a perfect day to feel good. Everything has to be perfect. This has to happen this way. In order for me to feel this way, this must happen, that must happen, that must happen. I need to be doing this, I need to be doing that. But listen, happiness is not a habit. I'm sorry, happiness is a habit. It's not a gift. Right? So I started creating small, intentional moments like silence, operating in silence, starting a new class, learning something new, learning something different, joining a book club. I love to read. I have about 3 books right here on my desk, right? I love to read. And reading, it inspires me. It keeps my creative juices flowing. So those are the things that I decided to do, to be intentional about my happiness and my joy. I communicated my needs to my husband, and I said, hey, this is what it is that I have. This is what I'm doing. And I learned to say no without feeling guilty about it, but also learning how to say yes to things that filled me, things that made me happy and brought me joy. Happiness became my daily choice, not something that I wished for, not something that I was dreaming for and continued to pray for. I made it a habit to operate in things that brought me happiness. And that decision, not only did it make me a better woman for me, but it made me a better wife, it made me a better mom, it made me a better sister, a better friend, all because I decided to take time for me. Now I can be intentional when I do communicate with anyone in my life, because I know to say no to things that are not going to bring me joy and yes to things that will, okay? But here's the thing, I'm a better wife now. Not because I do more. Nope, it's not because I do more. But it's because I'm finally showing up from a full place. You know, many times when we're having our disagreements and arguments, it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot out of us to fuss, to complain, to go back and forth, to find issues, to find, to try to work through challenges. Like, it's tiring, okay? I'm tired right now just saying it. I am tired right now just even talking about the things that zaps our energy away. So the way to combat that is to be intentional about how you show up. Be intentional about showing up from a full place, a filled place. I'm more patient. I'm more playful. Ask my kids, okay? We play all the time. I'm doing karate around here, y'all. Now, I don't know a karate move. I'm just trying not to kick this little boy too hard. But we're doing karate moves. But I'm more present. And that's what you want. That's what you need. You need to be more present. And the ripple effect, yep. My marriage feels more connected. My children, they feel my energy. They feel the love and the laughter. And guess what? I feel like myself again. I feel so doggone happy, y'all. And I want the same for each of you. I want the same for each of you. Listen, this is not about perfection. And, I wave my hand again because I used to claim perfectionism. I used to claim like I need everything to be perfect. I need it to be right. I had to learn it's not about perfectionism. It's about permission. I gave myself permission to be happy. I gave myself permission to feel joy. I gave myself permission to feel and to feel full of life. And here's at the end of the day, that's what God wants for us too. That's what God. He wants us to pour, but we have to be full to pour. So how do you get full? By embracing and being intentional of creating your own happiness. Creating spaces that you can feel happy. Because when you're happy, everyone else around you will be happy too. Just because of your outpouring. You are allowed to choose you. You're allowed to feel. I'm giving you permission. If you won't give yourself permission, listen, today I'm giving you a permission slip, okay? You know how you get those permission slips back in the day from school? Listen, I'm giving you a permission slip right now. You have permission to choose you. You have permission to feel happiness. You have permission to feel joy. You have permission to prioritize your happiness. You have permission to prioritize you. You have permission to self-care. And yes, self-care is a verb. Self-care should be done every single day. And this is a form of self-care. Pouring into yourself so that you can pour into others. So this is your permission slip. I want you to take this permission slip and take advantage and use it, okay? Remember when you got those permission slips, like you were just like, yep, I'm out of school. I'm out of school. I get to have fun, I get to lay back, and get to chill. Listen, this is your permission slip to lay back and chill, all right? So If today's episode spoke to you, I want to hear from you. I want to hear your story. I want to hear about the moment, your moment. The moment that changed everything for me. I want to hear your moment. And I want to hear your moment on April 28th. We are having our next The Uncommon Wife gathering on April 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's right at about an hour and a half of your evening where you get to just be poured into. You get to be supported and surrounded by other black wives just like you who understand your journey. Just like me, who understand your journey, right? And you get to meet some of our marriage mentors who are there to support you, not to tell you what to do, but to give you a little guidance if that's what you seek, all right? Because our goal with The Uncommon Wife is to just bring our marriages and our unions, our black marriages back the way they should be. When that moment when you said, I do, and you felt all the butterflies and you were happy, and regardless if you were in front of 50 people or 500 or just you and your spouse at the courthouse with a witness, okay? Whatever that moment was, that's what we want. That's what we want to bring you back to, remembering those moments when you were just in love and this is all that you wanted, right? And when you get to that point and you're there, now we can, build this into the marriage that God created it to be. That's it. That's the uncommon wife. Creating and having the marriage that God designed for us to have with our husbands. All right. So again, you are invited to join us for the Uncommon Wife gathering on April 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Absolutely free, no cost. You don't have to dress up. You don't even have to show your face on camera. We just want you in the room. We only have about 10 seats remaining. So I encourage you to secure one of those seats and just show up. You don't have to talk. You don't have to say anything. You can just sit back and be poured into, right? And then also we have the She's Uncommon Summit. I'm so doggone excited about the She's Uncommon Summit. It's filled with black wives who understand, black marriage mentors who understand, who want to pour into you. And it's engaging, it's interactive, and we want you there. And last but not least, visit theuncommonwife.com to learn more about all of the things that we're doing. The resources, there are resources on the site. There's a blog on the site. There's more information about the different events that we'll have coming up. And again, we want you to be connected. We want you to be in a community that serves you, that allows you to feel embraced, supported, and loved. And that's the Uncommon Wife. So again, thank you all for tuning in to today's episode of the Bold and Blessed Black Wives Podcast. I'm your host, Tamika, and I look forward to seeing you on next Sunday at the same time.
She's a queen, she's a crown, she's a backbone strong. Soft hands, open heart, where you know he belongs. Grace for her man, yeah, she covers in grace. Built for the storm, but still moves with grace. She's the calm in the fire, the peace in the fight. Holds them down strong, but keeps it real like got that Proverbs glow. Yeah, she walks in the light, ain't just his whip, she's his whole appetite. She's that uncommon wife, divine set apart. Moves with that power, yeah, she leads with her heart. Soft, but she's solid, love wrapped in might. Black woman magic, yeah, she shines so bright. She knows her worth, she knows her call. Stands in the gap so a king don't fall. Speaks life, not fear, she's the voice he trusts. Built on faith, yeah, her love is just. She's the calm in the fire.